Hey, what's going on, y'all? Caesar Stone Man rolling again. Now, in today's video, I want to talk to y'all about semen retention because today is the first day of No Nut November, and that's when these typical normal people start. Man, I got my cat in here. Take a look. No. But this is a time of the season, a time of the year where people who typically aren't on semen retention finally get with the gist. They finally learn about it. They finally remember the notion of retaining, of retention. They finally get woke, they get aware of this concept where a man decides to retain a seed and gains some sort of power, some sort of excess power. And honestly, you can look at this two ways, right? This is when people finally start to become aware of this. This is also when, honestly, if you ask me, there are some elites or some individuals out there that kind of have, if you wanted to say Satan himself, has a certain understanding that this is something that can empower men. So it's also a time of the year where they kind of publicly humiliate, they publicly make a joke out of semen retention. So there's this kind of duality between people respecting it and finally recognizing it as a power source, as retaining your seed as a way to live a healthier lifestyle, as a way to self-improve, and then people also in tandem recognize this as just a time to make a joke out of semen retention. You know what I mean? And people who decide to do nofap. Oh, you're going to start ascending it across your legs, and when you're going to gain the powers, of a superhero. All this other stuff. People kind of make a joke out of it and act like it's nothing. Day 15 of semen retention. I was reading and I started levitating. You know what I mean? It's kind of, they make jokes, but truly, let's get to this because I know a lot of y'all, some of y'all that are watching this might be of that disposition to find it to be jokes, but trust me, there is some real core element. There is a real core truth to this being a viable and vital way that you can improve your life. So let's get into that. For a lot of y'all that don't know about semen retention, I'll start off with this. Semen retention is just not, it's abstaining from ejaculation, all right? It's abstaining from jerking off, fapping your meat, and wasting your seed. And why would one do that, right? There's such a benefit, there's such an obvious benefit to getting the pleasure of jerking off and feeling good. But why avoid that release? Why abstain from ejaculation? Well, for one, men nowadays tend to have very low testosterone, and that's actually because we jerk off so much. Back in the 50s, men had cooler voices, they had deeper voices, they had, a more manliness, more masculinity, and that's because men at that time period did not have pornography the same way we do today. And so these kind of men were actually strong men, they were vital men, because they were maintaining their seed. Now, there's a correlation between your testicles, and testosterone. The test right there is the common, connector. And your testosterone is developed in your testes. That's where your body produces it. And it also decides to put it out with your seed. Whenever you release, you're releasing your testosterone. And you're actually triggering your body to develop estrogen. And this is because your body builds this testosterone to get you geared up for the mission of finding a mate. You're supposed to be more attractive. You're actually, when you're on retention, putting out natural pheromones like cologne. It's undetectable to our human smell with our human nose, but physiologically, women pick up on the fact that you are retaining, that you have extra testosterone. It's just in your pheromones. And so it's this kind of unscented cologne that you carry that says, I am an attractive mate. You should want to mate with me. It triggers their biomachine, their body, to want to mate with you. And so you develop this testosterone to accomplish the mission of spreading your genes. And this is, again, something that your body develops. And whenever you have released, your body says, okay, mission accomplished. I don't need to mate. I have mated. Now develop estrogen to put this body in a state of weakness to develop more seed. And so whenever you ejaculate, you're putting your body in a state of weakness. And that's why men nowadays walk around in this kind of permanent state of weakness. And women look at them like, you chump change. You permanently weak. You don't have. You ain't even developing. You know what I'm saying? Men nowadays looking to have paper and all this stuff outside themselves, currency and material wealth outside themselves to compensate for the fact they don't have life within themselves. And women pick up on that. It's in your aura. It's in your vibration. Listen, this is all quantum theory. All of reality is just a vibration. Matter itself is just energy vibrating at a very slow frequency so that it seems stable. So when you think about it like that, our body is giving off a frequency and a vibration that other bodies pick up on. And when you're a Coomer, when you're this guy that's, that's always without, that always is lacking, you come off like a poor homeless person. All right, your vibe is low and dirty, and people pick up on that, and they're like, "Yeesh, this dude's like weird and dirty." All right, there's a frequency that our receivers can pick up on. So again, you don't want to be walking around with this weak signal. You want to be walking around with a powerful signal, with an aura that shines, that glows, that people pick up on. Oh, this person's frequency is like a rich man. I got some videos back that say semen retention will give you star power. To make a long story short, celebrities get quantum attention. They get energy sent to them from all the people that are showing them all that love. In that same way, they get attention from outside themselves. They give off a glow. They are enlightened in a way. They go out this kind of aura that people are like, oh wow, that's a celebrity. It goes deeper than just knowing they're famous. They have a certain aura to them that people can pick up on. In that same vein, when we have all this developed within ourselves, all this life force and energy developed within ourselves, we give off a radiance much like that, except it's not coming from outside ourselves. We're not dependent on others outside ourselves. We're independent. We are depending on that which is within us, who we are, and what we are doing with our lives, our habits. So, to get back to the point of testosterone, which again it goes into your aura and the energy you give off to people, not only will you have that aura, will you have that ability to draw people in, but you will have this extra drive in reality. And again, this comes from the testosterone. And that testosterone goes up after about 7 days by 145%. If I can find this study, I'll link it. But in China, they did a study where they had men abstain from ejaculation for a period of 7 days. And on average, this is just like the average baseline, the men's testosterone by the 7th day shot up 145%. That's damn near double. Okay, that is a significant increase in a man's testosterone. I mean, imagine taking your level of masculinity and within 7 days shooting it up 145%. So not only do we have the aura factor, we have the testosterone factor. What other factors are there to semen retention that make this a viable and something that almost a necessary thing to your life? Whenever you are, existing in this reality, we have to think about what is driving our decision making. So not only should we be doing this for certain reasons, but we should be trying to avoid certain things. So we honestly should be trying to avoid that, negative Coomer effect, right? That kind of weird vibe that we give off. But we should avoid being the kind of people that are destroying what we have for a little bit of temporary pleasure. You see, there is this element of you should balance this out, but there's an element of self-improvement that you're denying yourself whenever you decide to go for the short-term gain of ejaculation for a short bit of pleasure, denying yourself all the benefits that come with the empowerment of having your seed. There's this life force energy, there's this vitality that you are denying yourself for this little pleasure. And when you have this mindset, when you drive and build this habit of, I will spill my seed in order to, I'll spill my seed in order to feel good and deny myself the long-term gain, you stick yourself in that habit and you start to do that in more places in your life. So you might find yourself, oh, I could go to work today, but it would feel good if I didn't. And now you're making less money. And then it's like, oh, I could work out today, but I'd feel better to lay in bed, so I won't. I'll deny myself the long-term gain for the short-term gain that I can get here. And you'll have a lot of short-term gains, but in the long term, you will be nowhere. You will stagnate. Your long-term development goes downward. And so you will find yourself later in life really regretting all those choices you made. And making a little decision, a little change here earlier down the line of just being like, you know what, in this small way, I'm going to prioritize my long-term gain over my short-term gain, just of feeling good. I'm going to prioritize trying to see these long-term results, a healthier body, a healthier mindset, a healthier way of being. I'm going to prioritize that over just feeling good for a little bit of time. That is going to dramatically change your life. You're going to find yourself prioritizing, oh, I'm going to work out today. I'm going to have that, I'm going to go to work today instead of skipping the job. I'm going to do this. It's going to snowball effect into you actually being more responsible in reality. Lastly, I'd like to touch on the spiritual benefits that come from maintaining your seed. This kind of goes into the self-improvement, the spiritual awakening aspect. If you have a relationship with God, that relationship's going to wake up. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel the discernment, the prophecy, the spiritual gifts accumulate and amplify tenfold. You're going to start seeing in the Spirit, hearing in the Spirit, but you're going to feel your connection with God strengthen. There's a reason that all the prophets had this kind of strong connection with God, because their life force was so amplified that it connected with the one that is beyond this, that is the life force of all things, all the more. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. You see, and when you develop more life within yourself, all that life connects you all the more with Him. And when you look at it like this, that you are developing life force, connecting with life force, you can see this correlation, and you can also see that it's when we choose to hold on to that development of life force that God favors us, that there's a higher power up there that shines favor upon us, that looks upon us more favorably. And you're going to see that favor start to increase in your life. You're going to see that just things starting to work out for you. You're going to be manifesting better realities. You're going to be on a higher life path because of the way that you're taking care of yourself and the life force power that you carry within you. So all in all, retaining your seed is a important aspect of developing yourself, and treat No Nut November seriously. Really give it a shot. In its first 7 days, that's really when I felt the major change. About day 3, in fact, I was already feeling like a more confident young man. But I want y'all to really go for this whole 30 days. If you haven't, if you're the kind of semen retainer that goes about 1 week, 2 weeks, and then you kind of fall back and then you kind of just redo that. That's a good way of getting into it. There's a balance there that I can admire. But I really want y'all to go this full 30 days. I'm going to really be putting my time and energy into reaching this 30-day goal, because I really want to see those results, and I want y'all to see these results too. So let's not fall back. Let's really keep each other committed. Let's stay strong. If y'all have YouTube channels, let's really start pumping these videos out to make sure that we're keeping each other accountable and we're seeing results, and we're not only holding each other accountable, but spreading the joy of all the benefits that we gain along this journey. I hope that this video gave you some radiance, gave you some enlightenment, made you feel like you could also do this, give you the motivation and inspiration to tackle this goal. And I hope that y'all are willing to start to try and see these results in your life for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Try it for yourself. This is a perfect opportunity. It's a lot of people don't want to be the only one trying it. They need the energy of other people doing it to help them facilitate their self, practicing this kind of thing. So let's use this No Nut November as an opportunity to really dig deep and do our best to retain and really value those results as they start to appear in our lives. All right, y'all. Hope that you take care and have a blessed day and a blessed month. Peace.